Radiation. Is it really something you want to take home? Today, we'll be discussing why the importance of radiation protection is so important. My name is Jacob Deckard, and I'll be your instructor. I have worked with radiation protection for 3.5 years in the United States Army. So, we have here today two examples of radiation protection that are very simple to use. The first of which is a lead shield. Now, a lead shield is usually used in an x-ray room to shield patients from excess radiation. Now, the way it's used is it can be unvelcroed, and it can be wrapped around the patient and re-velcroed. So, you want the Velcro strip out, you wrap it around, bring it back to yourself, and this is kind of a one-size-fits-all. It's got the capabilities of doing anywhere. So what's nice about this, and I'll back up a little bit so you can see where it ends, is it covers the essentials. Now, that's mainly for a male patient. For a female patient, you can bring it up, and you can place one down here also. That way you can cover both of the essentials. Now, the important thing to remember with radiation is that radiation targets the most basic of cells, stem cells. They love to target cells that are not fully developed. And some of those cells are your reproductive cells, because reproductive cells require two to work together. Now, that being said, it's very important that we protect those. That's why things such as ovarian cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer are a very serious issue. That's when we come into this. This is a full body shield. This can be used on patients, doctors, all sorts of the medical field, and it's literally just put on just like this. Whenever you're in a surgery room with a doctor, the doctors will be wearing one of these. The x-ray techs will be wearing one of these. The OR technicians will be wearing one of these. Nurses, they'll be wearing one of these. It's as simple as this. You just clip it in. It covers the essentials. Sometimes, if your hospital is good enough, they'll have thyroid shields, which is essentially a little circlet that covers your thyroid, which is also one of the most important areas because thyroid cancer is a real deal. These are just two of the different types of equipment. There are many more. There are different types of radiation protection also. You have physical hard wall shields also that protect a specific area. So wherever a technician is or a doctor, they might want to stand behind a hard wall. Typically, in most hospitals, it is required that every wall has 7 inches of lead protecting everything from the outside. So there's no excess radiation reaching people that are outside of that area. Now, that being said, it's also important to know that radiation tends to linger for a little bit of time before its half-life ends, kind of like a normal element. When a normal element ends, its half-life changes it. That's why radiation doesn't stay a long while. So, when you look at places like Chernobyl, they have constant radiation fuming because they have a nuclear power plant there, a massive source of radiation. So the radiation is still there because you never took out the source. When you look at Hiroshima, a place where a nuclear bomb erupted, the radiation stayed for a long time because uranium's half-life is like 1 million years. That's not a fact, that's just a guesstimate. No one's exactly sure because we've never been around long enough to see uranium's half-life actually happen. Okay, so that being said, we're going to move on to the next section about radiation protection. Not only is it important to protect yourself, but it's important to protect those around you. The best thing you can do is distance. So if you're using an x-ray machine, usually they say 10 to 12 feet is the safe area. Anything further back and you're definitely safe. But 6 feet is where a technician like myself would be standing. And then 10 to 12 feet for all other people, patients, family members, stuff like that. I work in a field hospital in the Army, so often I can't get people 10 to 12 feet away. I try my best to mitigate it. And that's why these come into handy, because they help mitigate that radiation exposure. And this is Jacob Deckard, and that concludes my training for radiation protection. In summary, we talked about the different types of radiation protection that I use: lead shield, and then a full body vest. We talked about radiation staying in one area for a long amount of time and staying there for a little bit of time. We also talked about distancing yourself from radiation. The correct distance is 12 feet, 10 to 12 feet, and then if you're the actual technician shooting it, it's 6 feet.